Thank you. Thank you, Vince. Everybody be seated. Okay, Lynn, you want to read the Open Public Meetings Act?
This meeting has been advertised and posted under the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Okay, we need approvals for March 18th council meeting minutes. Need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that was Dennis and Mike. Okay. Can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yeah, yes.
Lettieri,
Hang on a second. Let me unmute him. He's still got 2 connections.
I got 1 connection.
Now you do. Go ahead. Yes or no, Mike? I mean, Paul.
Yes.
Thank you.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
yes,
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Approval of payroll and operating expenses. I need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Reardon.
Reardon. Can I roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
yes,
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/60, emergency temporary appropriations. Need a first and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from council? What we're doing is giving more money to the temporary budget. Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
yes,
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/61, of contract with Greenman Incorporated. Need a first and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
yes,
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/62. Purchasing Corporation for contract number 062117/PT, as in Tom, C. Landscaping and ground equipment with turf equipment and supply company, LLC, for a Toro Multiple Pro chemical sprayer. Need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions about purchasing this chemical sprayer? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
yes,
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2020/63, authorizing award bid for computer and network maintenance. First and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/64, real estate tax refund. First and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/65, CER trip refund. I need a first and second.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/66, farmers market refund. Need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2020/67, short-term rental resolution. Need a first and second.
Second.
Questions?
Yeah, can we, just for anybody viewing, make sure we explain what it does? If people haven't read the ordinance, they might not understand it.
There's a small typo at the top of that, isn't there?
I don't know if Bennett wants to go over that real quick.
Prohibiting, we just change that up.
Jim?
All right, the long and the short of it is, Deputy Mayor, this is not a prohibition on temporary rentals. What it does is, following Governor's Executive Order 107 and 108, it allows the city of Brigantine to remove any list of towns from marketplaces, specifically Airbnb, VRBO, TravelWise, and some others. This will remain in effect until mayor and council no longer necessary.
Does that exclude realtors?
Any short-term rental that is marketed online, it includes. So if the realtors are marketing short-term rentals, we can have them remove it as well.
Well,
Yeah.
I personally think that they should be included in this, whether they get it online or not. Because I guess they've been approached by people either personally, hand to hand or whatever. But I know of a certain instance where it was a realtor was looking for a short-term rental for somebody from New York.
Okay, Mike Koski, if you're there, could you jump in and explain how we got to the point where we are?
Hey, I don't know if Mike is still on. This is Fred.
Okay, Fred.
Go ahead, Fred.
this resolution is prepared to deal with the actual online marketing entity itself. And under the executive orders, this is specifically called out, and I believe it was an Executive Order 108, as something that is permissible. If we leave the concept of how you market and go just to the end result, it would not be permissible, because this is focusing on the marketing. So that if you have, I mean, I suppose if you had set up a realtor who has an online marketing service, that realtor would be properly excluded under this. But if you have a realtor who is not marketing online and just enters into an agreement for a short-term rental, that would not be prohibited by this. This goes specifically to the marketing concept based upon what is contained in Executive Order 108.
Everybody, 108 is the executive order from the governor of New Jersey.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
You know, I noticed, I know we're calling it the short-term rental resolution, but I know what we're doing with it, but I don't see anything in there saying in the actual resolution, short-term itself. Is that an issue, or are we okay with that?
Because it might not be short-term, Mike. Yeah, we don't know when this virus is going away. As long as this virus is here, that will stay in effect.
So, okay, then I misunderstood the purpose. I thought it was short-term rentals under 30 days, not a short-term suspension of rentals.
This resolution will stay in effect until mayor and council decide not to. It is for the short-term rental.
Right. Online.
Correct.
Short-term rentals.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't see anywhere in the actual resolution where it says short term, you know, but we have all other language in there, and that's the intention of it. I'm just bringing it up.
Okay.
What's the definition of short term?
Anything less than 30 days.
Roger that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just one. This is Rick. Just want to be clear. So there's really no limitation or restriction on rentals per se. That can continue the same as it is now, except for, or and to the extent that people might be advertising properties online or arranging rentals online. Is that right?
Arm
Well,
trained.
this
Good.
is Fred. Yes, it is our understanding, and having prepared this resolution, that this goes to the marketing component, and that if it is online, that is what is prohibited.
Okay. Do we have any sense, is that a significant portion of our overall rentals in town? Or?
Not off the top of my head, Rick. I can tell you that last season, there were 315 properties listed just on Airbnb, and another, I think, 100 or 115 on VRBO. Plus, there's a round.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. It's currently just the only leeway that the governor's given us with those two exceptions. Correct? Regarding Executive Order 107 and 108.
That's correct.
I had a question for Fred. I saw a couple other towns, I believe Ocean City might be one of them, and possibly Ventnor, put an all-out prohibition on short-term rentals. Are they able to do that?
Well, you know, we have not reviewed what other municipalities have done in any detail. If I can set aside a strict legal analysis and just comment on what seems to appear in the newspapers and the media, some of what I see in the media being reported coming out of other shore communities, facially, I find inappropriate. And I think it would, I don't know where the underpinning of the legal basis for that resides. But admittedly, we have not researched those. Some of them, by way of example, go to the limitation of all persons coming in, even if they happen to be second home owners and things like that. I do not know where they get the basis for that kind of prohibition. And to the extent that there are other prohibitions in the activity of other communities, I can't give you any support for that. Our upfront response would be that stuff is inappropriate. And again, I'm admitting that this is not something that we have gotten deeply involved in because it does not impact our clients, so we haven't gone there. I think some of what you've been reading in the paper, if it is ever challenged, would be subject to considerable scrutiny, and the challenge might be successful.
Any other questions? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Sorry about that. I think at this point, what we can do to prevent you from making a last minute decision to come to the door, say for Easter vacation or anything, I think we have to do whatever we can right now. So I'm voting yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
This is something the governor has allowed us to do. It's given us one of the two exceptions regarding this with the online marketplace lodging to curtail that, and also something related to municipal and county parks. So we need to take full advantage of it, just as Councilwoman you just stated. And so I also vote yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
You're muted, Mike.
I say yes, I agree 100%, especially because with short-term rentals, we really don't have any idea who these people are that come in for a short-term rental, where they're coming from. Unlike a yearly rental, it's a big difference. So I vote yes.
Sarah,
Yeah, I think it's really important for us to take every step that we can to make sure that, all the people of Brigham Young are protected. So I vote yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Again, it's unusual times, and we've got to protect our citizens and as much as we possibly can. So I'm voting yes.
motion carried.
Okay, the consent agenda. They have to know that it might be postponed or canceled at any time without notice. So we only have one thing on there. St. Thomas raffle license number 915. I need a first and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Can I roll call, Lynn?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
At this time, I'm going to go to public comments. Anybody from the public want to speak?
Mayor, give me a second to unmute the members of the public that are here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Members of the public are unmuted.
Anybody from the public would like to speak? Jim, can you tell me how many people from the public's on the phones?
Yes, Mayor, 1 minute, please. I see 1, 2, 4 all total.
4. I don't hear anything from the public. I'll give it a couple more seconds just in case we're having a problem. They're all unmuted, right, Jim?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, hearing none comments from the public, I'm going to close the public portion. If anybody from the public couldn't get through, the phone number you can reach out to is area code 609-266-7600, extension 212. That's the city manager, my phone. Anything you want a call back on from me or the city manager or anybody from council, just let us know. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
before we end the meeting, council comments, our CFO, the best CFO in the state of New Jersey, has an announcement she needs to make.
Okay, great.
I just wanted to announce the fact that we had intended to have the budget at this particular April 1st meeting. That has been postponed. Next council meeting, April 15th.
Can't hear.
Move up to this seat.
You got to get closer.
Sorry.
Start over again, Roxanne.
Okay, I will. Just wanted to express the fact that we originally had the budget hearing scheduled for this meeting. Based upon our virtual meeting, we had to advertise and postpone the budget hearing until the next meeting, which is April 15th at 1 o'clock. And I just wanted anybody that is listening and is interested to realize that that will be happening on the 15th as we begin right now.
Okay, Roxanne, thank you. I'm going to go to council comments. I'm going to go right to Mike Reardon because he's been trying to get a resolution together and stuff like that. And before anybody speaks, I'd like to have our attorney speak on it after Mike's ready to call for a resolution. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, thanks, Andy. So, as we're all very, very concerned about the situation that we're in, and after talking to members of the medical profession, one doctor from Brigantine in particular, saying they have multiple conference calls a week, and they're expecting a big surge. Here, we're up to like 30 cases in Atlantic County. So, and after hearing members of the public and everybody concerned about visitors coming in and all, I wrote up an ordinance. I sent everybody a copy of the final version today. I don't know if everybody got the final version. I sent it out about an hour ago. And
Was it an ordinance or a resolution?
The resolution, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
And I know that there was some concerns with the previous version yesterday. So if you didn't see today's version, it's a different, there's some additions that are better and may help the situation. But so I'm going to read it real quick, and it says, whereas the spread of the novel, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas the spread of the novel coronavirus, known as COVID-19, is a pandemic affecting countries around the world, including the U.S. and the state of New Jersey. And whereas COVID-19 is a particularly virulent virus and easily transmitted, having caused 42,000 deaths worldwide, 3,800 deaths in the U.S. and 267 deaths in New Jersey. And whereas COVID-19 is transmitted by personal contact between humans and by human contact with certain objects contaminated by a person carrying the virus. And whereas Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, has declared a national emergency and a major disaster declaration for New Jersey. Whereas Governor Phil Murphy has declared a state emergency in New Jersey, invoking state law that allows broad powers in a public health crisis. And whereas Atlantic County is located 100 miles south of an epicenter of COVID-19 outbreak in New York and 60 miles southeast of the hard-hit Philadelphia metropolitan area, and whereas patients with serious emergency medical conditions, including patients with COVID-19 requiring hospitalization have overwhelmed facilities around the globe, and whereas the country has a limited supply of medical equipment, personal protective equipment, and medicine to treat potential COVID-19 cases, whereas in consideration of the above factors, it is prudent and advisable to take steps on a countywide level to protect the residents of Atlantic County and to undertake measures to further minimize the risks of COVID-19 transmission. Therefore, the City Council of Brigantine hereby respectfully requests that the county executive, pursuant to County Law Chapter 4-58B, take all necessary and reasonable steps to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission to and among the residents of the county, including but not limited to the following. Number one, establish a 14-day quarantine travel restriction limiting travel to the county except for essential purposes as defined below. Number two, and this is where a change is made, people who do not reside, own homes, or have business in the county may not travel to the county except for essential purposes. Number three, contractors and employees who do not live in the county may only travel in the county for essential purposes. Number four, travel for essential purposes shall mean to receive or provide medical care, to provide direct caregiving to people who reside in the county, to resupply bulk food items, fuel, and other products required for human consumption, habitation, and well-being, to conduct law enforcement activities, to fulfill Atlantic County, state, or federal obligations, to perform the duties related to these obligations, and travel for other similar purposes associated with life-saving, firefighting, and other activities related to the emergency care of persons or property. Also, any other purposes deemed essential by Governor Murphy. Number five, essential travel shall also include travel outside the county for the purpose of obtaining groceries and other essential items. Number six, essential travel shall also include delivery of building supplies and materials needed for county residents to perform their jobs. So I just want to say before Fred gets on there, I made a couple changes. I don't believe there's any conflict with the governor's orders, executive orders 107 and 108, and I'll let Fred talk. Thank you.
Okay. I would make the point that what the councilman has just read does not result in the municipality establishing restrictions or undertaking any type of enforcement. This form of resolution is basically the municipality expressing its concerns to the county executive and asking that county government take certain actions as described in the form of resolution. So that is the first point I would make. This is not restrictions coming from the municipality. It is a request for another governmental agency to engage in a course of conduct which would include restrictions, and the responsibility would reside with that governmental entity, in this case, Atlantic County. The other thing that I would advise council is that I have had conversation with county counsel's office at the time of my conversation, which admittedly was mid-morning today. The county counsel's office, the assistant counsel that I spoke to was unaware of this, and they will take a look at this kind of potential restriction. And the assistant county counsel that I spoke to told me he would be talking to county council and possibly the administrator of the county to get their interpretation or their interest in this particular event. So I will have ongoing communication with county counsel's office and will advise our city council accordingly. That's been our level of involvement. If council has any questions, I'll be glad to try to entertain.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mike. I guess we have something on the floor we got to get a first and second on. So, Mike, are you the first?
I'm the first.
Okay. Can I have a second on the resolution that Mike just came up with, and then we'll have some conversation with Councilman Reardon.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we got a second. We got it on the floor. Okay. Anybody from council would like to speak on this matter?
Yes, Mayor, I would. You reading me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. We just approved resolution, I guess it'll be resolution 67 regarding a resolution of the city council of the city of Brigantine prohibiting the rental of real property through online marketplaces in accordance with executive order number 108. Within that, and I just first want to speak before I go much any further here, it's not too often that I disagree or don't quite see eye to eye, so to speak, with what Mr. Cerny, what Fred has to say. I value his opinion immensely, and he's a top shelf attorney. There is absolutely no doubt about it. However, I'm in some disagreement here with him. Regarding the resolution I just mentioned, the resolution I guess would be 67, you spoke to Jim earlier. If we scroll down to paragraph 3 on that, it states, just even within the resolution that we just approved, whereas on March 21st, 2020, Governor Murphy issued executive order number 108, 2020, year 2020, invalidating any previous municipal restriction imposed in response to COVID-19 and prohibiting the enactment and enforcement of any municipal order, rule, regulation, ordinance, or resolution which will or might in any way conflict with any provisions of Executive Order number 107, 2020, or which will or might in any way interfere with or impede its achievement. And it goes on to the next paragraph. For starters, the one with the 14-day quarantine, I mean, that is nowhere within Executive Order 107 and 108. And anybody can go online and feel free to view those executive orders of the governor. And there's also mandates that came down from the Attorney General's office as well. Within the governor's Executive Order 107 on page 1, paragraph 4, he essentially states what I just said. That is the full resolution if you read it. If I can maybe bring that up. I don't know if there's much change, if anything, on that. Whereas in accordance, and he just mentions the statute and the, I guess, Appendix A 9-40. This is the governor's own words, I guess, in the bill he signed. I declared that due to the state of emergency, no municipality, county, or any agency or political subdivision of the state shall enact or enforce any order, rule, regulation, ordinance, or resolution which will or might in any way conflict with any of the provisions of my executive orders, or which will in any way interfere with or impede their achievement. And then it goes on further and further. Anybody can, that's Executive Order number 107, which can be accessed online by the public. And also, if you go to anybody, well, whoever it might be, this is just Executive Order number 108, and this would be on page 5 of the governor's order, paragraph 2, which is also item 2. No municipality, county, or any other agency or political subdivision of the state shall enact or enforce any order, rule, regulation, ordinance, or resolution which will or might in any way conflict with any of the provisions of Executive Order number 107, or which will or might in any way interfere with or impede its achievement or the achievement of administrative orders issued as authorized by my executive orders. This is a time, excuse me. This is a time like for uniformity and unity within the state. I don't think in any way, I mean, I know, Mike might have the best of intentions here, and I think it's good for the county to work with the state, which I'm sure they're doing. And at any point in time, everything is always in flux. The governor has also stated in one of his other, I guess, whether it be an executive order or statements to the general public, that regularly things will change. And if that needs to happen, so be it. Everybody needs to be on the same page here. There's 21 counties within the state of New Jersey, our great state. And we have, I believe it's 565 cities, towns, municipalities, what have you. if everybody starts doing all this different stuff, we're gonna have a major problem on our hands. That's why the governor came down with these executive orders and the wording that he has within it. I think this would just add confusion. It's contradictory in many ways. And as I stated before, this is a time for unity on all fronts at all levels. We can't have division, ambiguity, and essentially what this is like. If you talk about the 14-day quarantine, and then the other wording, which other people might be looking at, compared to what the governor has explicitly stated in his orders. Like, this is what the general public needs to go by. We can't have that type of conflict going on, or anything that's essentially direct conflict with the governor's executive orders. Such a resolution, I would lend itself towards destabilization about the state right now and what is going on and what we're trying to accomplish as a whole. It's not our proper place during this most difficult time to adopt resolutions which are in direct conflict with what Executive Order number 108 and 107 state. I appreciate everybody's. First of all, I don't want to understate my concern for this entire situation and what we have going, what we have with our own citizenry in this town. We care for them deeply, and I would not want anything I'm saying right here to be misconstrued. But we need unity. We need to fight this thing together, and this is not a time for that type of such a resolution, which kind of subverts exactly what the governor states in those portions that I mentioned.
Okay, Dennis, thank you. Thank you for comments. Any other council people want to talk about this resolution that's in front of us?
Yeah, I would, Andy.
Go ahead, Rick.
Thank you. And I appreciate what Dennis just said, and I agree 100%. Uniformity and consistency are critically important, when we're trying to get the populace of the entire state on the same page.
Right.
With that said, I think for me, what Fred said kind of set the right tone, which is that all we're doing here really, we could do in any resolution, is to express our sentiment, our hopes, our concerns, wishes, and to recommend a course of action to somebody higher up in the food chain, specifically the county executive. And at the county level, as Fred noted, their council is going to evaluate whether they can take any particular actions and still be consistent with, what the governor has stated. And I'm sure that in the normal course of things, at the county level, if they were proposing to take any action, whether it's some or all of what we've included in our resolution, they'll check that with the governor's office. They'll talk to the governor's council and make sure that they're not, inadvertently stepping into an area that is superseded by what the governor did. And for me, and Mike and I had a chance to talk about this last night. For me, the value of this, even if nothing ever comes of it, that is, if the county feels they don't want to or are not able to take any of the actions that we're talking about, is that we can reinforce again the message that, unfortunately, from what I can see, is still not being embraced by everybody, which is that you've got to stay separate from one another. We can't create situations or allow situations to be created where people in larger groups are in proximity to one another, because that's the bottom line of how this disease spreads. We all know it's highly contagious, and there's a mystery how it spreads. And let's not kid ourselves, it's here and it's been here. We just don't know the parameters of it because of the nature of the disease and the fact that it's such a long latency period, but it is here. So this isn't about, as if there was a magical way to close our borders on the county and protect ourselves, absolutely. But everything we can do or encourage others to do that limits the number of people who are in a confined or defined area helps out with the overall goal of, suppressing, if not stopping, the spread of the disease. So on that level, I think it's a worthwhile thing for us to do.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Anybody else?
I'd like to speak for a minute.
Go ahead.
And I said earlier that I was going to listen to Fred. And am I coming in funny?
Yes.
I don't know why it's, is there anything I can do to make it sound better?
You're better. Yeah.
Okay. I listened to Fred. We are not asking for restrictions. We're requesting the county to work. He said that the county council's office would take a look at it. And I don't see where it would hurt us to ask the county to step up, and help us, and just so we're all on the same page. I don't think we're really conflicted with anything or impeding anything that the government put into place already. And I think anything we can possibly do to protect our citizens of Brigantine, we've got to do it. It's not like we're putting any major restrictions personally on Brigantine. We're just asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else on this
Yeah,
matter?
just a comment. Got a couple comments.
Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
First of all, I want to thank Mike for all the work that he's put into this. We've had some discussions back and forth, and I know Mike has made some changes because I've had some questions about some legal concerns about our ability to stop legal homeowners from going into homes. Mike's addressed those issues. Yeah, Mike. I appreciate Fred's legal counsel on here as well, because one of the big questions I had is what authority do we have as a local government to, I guess, go against the governor's executive orders, especially too when both the president and the governor of New Jersey have declined to put travel restrictions in place. But I think one of the things that has really helped me with this is Fred's explanation was saying that we as a government aren't taking official action here in the city, but we're asking the county above us to step up their, I guess, their actions and what they're doing here and have their legal team review it, because that was one of my concerns too, is our ability to enforce this. But passing it up the chain, I think, is a good move. So I just kind of wanted to add those comments because I think they were very helpful today, because originally when I had first reviewed this, I was not in favor, but I think in light of the discussion and the changes that Mike has made, I think it's been a little bit more clear on what exactly it is we're trying to do. So I wanted to add those comments.
Thank you, Vince. Anybody else? Hearing none?
Hey,
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
I just, before we vote, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I talked to everybody last night, and I want to thank the mayor, because initially when we started out, talked it out, he was working it out to set it up with Denny, and, you know, and when Denny gave his, we asked Denny for his opinion, and he gave us his thoughts on it, and it was positive. So I just want to say thank you to you all.
Thank you, Mike. And we'll talk about your, how you handle things. Can I have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Haney.
He's muted.
Yeah, sorry. All these points that everyone else has brought up, things that are, they're things that are actually ongoing anyway. The county's working as best they can with the state, and the governor's cohesively working above him with the, like as Vince mentioned, with the office of the president. And I don't think that this is not really going to change anything. And I hear what everybody's saying, obviously, but I think it's, I see this direct conflict with what the governor stated. And I do not want to send the wrong message out to the public. I mean, like as I said before, I don't want to understate my feelings for everybody and the ability that we need to have the proper social distancing and stay at home. And you know, obviously there's some stay at home as much as possible. If you need to travel for whatever purposes, the governor's got a huge list, that a very specific list as to what one can do. It even speaks how people can travel to visit family and friends. You know, you have people, you have maybe older relatives want to come down here. They might be from New York, Philadelphia. They're traveling to that house and they're going to stay there. They got a little bit of cabin fever going on or something for their own psychological welfare. All that stuff is covered. So by the fact that I don't want to send the wrong message that I'm not in favor of guarding the public, I'm just going to, I do not agree. However, at the same time, I'm just going to abstain. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Rick? I'm sorry.
Lucre?
Thank you, Lynn. Look, I appreciate very much Dennis's comments, and no one questions the genuineness of what he's saying. And I can't say I disagree either. But this gives us an opportunity to send, I think, a much needed message, even if, you know, the people above us determine that this is not something that they're able to implement, or at least not able to implement as we've asked. But that will happen outside of what we do. So I'm going to vote yes.
Reardon?
Yeah, I'll vote yes.
Sarah?
I think probably this has been one of the most valuable conversations we've had as a council. There's been a lot of concerns, and I feel like we've really spent a lot of time listening to each other. I think also as elected representatives, it's important for us to echo the concerns of the community. And as I said, Mike has made the changes here that we've talked about, so I appreciate that, Mike. But I think it's also, we all have heard a lot of the fear that people have here in the community and concern for people that are coming here who might not have a real or legitimate reason to be here. So I think it's important for those concerns to be echoed up the chain of command and, you know, allow the county to hear what our people are thinking, what our people in this community, you know, all the property owners here are thinking. So I think it's important. So I'm going to vote yes.
Mayor Simpson?
I don't know if I have came across with my efforts at the house and being quarantined, but I'm in the, mostly every day I'm on the phone with the governor's office, Blanding County mayors, the whole state of mayors. This question has came up. The governor's office says we're not doing that. But I don't see any harm moving this forward to Denny's office. Denny doesn't have the authority to do this. He's really going to have to get it from the governor's office. And I have a 3 o'clock conference meeting, and I'll bring it up again and try to push something through that we can protect the city, the citizens of Brigantine. So I'm voting yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Any other council members, comments?
I have a couple
Go ahead.
shout outs and thank yous. I just saw today, big thank you to Viking Yachts for donating 100 Tyvek suits to our fire department to keep them safe when they go into these situations where people might be infected. I'd also like to thank the fabulous school district that we have. They have gone beyond all measures to change their methods of teaching. They're working longer and harder hours now than they ever did before. Kids are responding. It's amazing how people can adapt to situations like we're in right now. Also, the Chamber of Commerce has a couple of events coming up. They have the Easter Bunny coming around on the fire truck on Thursday, April 9th starting at 5 p.m. They'll be coming out with a schedule for what streets they'll be on at what time. And the Chamber of Commerce is also doing a bunny trail. So watch for bunnies popping up all over our island, and they'll do some fun activities from your car, from your walks, from your bicycles. So keep an eye out for all that kind of stuff, and just stay well, everybody. Stay home, stay well, and hopefully in a few months we'll all be back out together again. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, getting back to the temporary rentals, I think it behooves us all to be vigilant in our own neighborhoods. If we see instances where people are renting a property just to throw a big party, that it's reported and something's done about it, because we can do all the talking we want. If we're not going to enforce anything, it's, you know, it's all for naught. So I think that, you know, people should be vigilant. I know the folks have spoke about it on 20th Street where they have some issues with the larger homes there. So I think that people should just keep an eye on your neighbors, take care of your older neighbors, and watch out for any of these properties that might be being rented without our knowledge. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody else?
I'll just say something real quick as,
Okay, then.
you're up, Dan?
Yeah, I just want to say that regarding Mike's resolution that we just voted on, I just want to say, like, obviously, this is a crisis, the likes of which we have never seen as across the entire country, obviously. I think
The world.
Pardon me?
The world.
Yeah, the world, the entire world. And on our level, what the president and on down is dealing with, you know, we have our hands full with this thing, and the governor's got his hands full. And I think, quite frankly, he's doing an excellent job so far, our governor. And as I stated before, we really need to be on the same page with him. And, you know, I think this is, at minimum, just it kind of flies in the face of what the governor is stating, you know, what his order states and how he wants to attack this thing and keep unity within the state. This is a careless and potentially dangerous thing that could that we have going on here with this, you know, just going against and subverting what the governor has stated is essentially what's going on. If the governor says within his orders that this is the way that he wants to attack this thing and have us work together as a state, I think we need to work together with him and not lend ambiguity or just confusion and just where did this thing come from? I mean, that's kind of like when the governor says one thing, we say another. I just don't agree. I'm just reiterating that. But thank you. I appreciate the efforts and honesty of everyone. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, as far as, you know, businesses on the island and all, and being chairman of the Economic Development Commission and a few of us on the committee here, that there's some very, very good information for businesses to get funding, loans that the good possibility won't have to pay back. There's great information, first of all, on the Brigantine Chamber of Commerce site, also on the Atlantic County Chamber site, and the SBA administration site. SBA, if you Google any of that, you know, we just we're hoping this soon ends sooner than later. But I wanted to say that and mention that stuff too, because I know it's tough. And it seems like the unemployment funding that they're going to do is also very good for everyone. So that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
I just want to follow up with what Mike said with the Economic Development Committee. I know a couple of towns, some shore towns up and down the coast, have declared local disasters. And I think that was in an attempt to try to get federal or state funding for some of the businesses to recapture that loss. I don't know if that's something that we can look and do here to make sure we're doing everything we can do to put our businesses and our business community in the best possible position to recover from this crisis.
Okay. Rick, you want to say anything?
He's not muted, is he?
Yeah, he's muted.
Rick's muted.
No, Rick's not muted, is he? Yeah, he is.
Am I muted now?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, you really missed out on some good stuff there when I was muted.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
I'll give you the short version, which is, let's be smart. We know what we're dealing with, and nobody likes it. In fact, we probably all hate it, but this is the reality we have, and the best way to get out of it is to follow the instructions that we're getting from medical professionals and healthcare professionals and public safety professionals.
What about the governor, Rick? What about those instructions, the executive orders?
I'm treating you as his representative. So follow Dennis.
Well, like I said, I talk to him on almost on a daily basis. So, again, it's, I'll give you information as it comes available to me. Get it out to Jim Bennett but that's what we're doing right now. But go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, that was all I had to say. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Karen touched on our school system. I talked to the superintendent of schools. He's going to reduce the spring break time to Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think Monday. He sent out a letter to that effect. So we can get out of school earlier. The kids can get out, the teachers can get out earlier, and hopefully, the crisis is over by then and they can have a great summer. So I just want to make people aware that the school spring break is condensed. Like to give a big thanks out to our city employees that come in, sometimes part-time, sometimes they're still working a full schedule. They don't get a big enough thanks from us. So that's something I would like to say personally. There's a letter that's coming out into the Brigantine Times stating that some people want to do a bunny thing where they want to put the eggs in the mailboxes and stuff like that. And our city manager talked to our emergency management coordinator, Brian Fan, and he put something out on the line about that. But I'm going to put something in the paper. Everything's fine and dandy. If you think you're going to jump in a car and go drive over your neighbor's house and just have a little bunny hop in there, that's not good. That's not good. Everybody's got to stay in, bite the bullet, and we got enough. President says we got enough 2 weeks, and all 2 weeks of tough road to hoe, to be honest with you. And if we stay in, wash our hands, do everything that the government tells us to do, I think we get through this. Certainly don't want no deaths. The letter I was just talking about with Brian Fan and my letter will go out or on Facebook and also on the city website. So we just got to stay together. We can't get a lot of people, I understand, getting a little nervous and a little jumpy and a little angry, and because they're stuck in a house and stuff like that. We got a tough 2 weeks coming, and I don't know how they know it's 2 weeks. It might be longer. So when it comes to 2 weeks and they say another tough 2 weeks, we just have to hunker down until the time we get through this, and we'll get it through together. The Brigantine stuff, the United States of America stuff. So I just want to make sure everybody's in agreement on that. That's all I have. Any other comments or anything from Jim Bennett or anything like that? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, there you go. CL. Hey, we're going through tough times, unusual times. It looks like a beautiful day out there. So our April 1st meeting is over. The 15th is our next meeting. And we'll be doing it with Zoom again because this is not going to be over in 2 weeks. So God bless you. God bless America. God bless Brigantine.